Hello everyone. Today it's time to finish the second half of my Peaceful Meadows. I will be doing this with my inspiration taken from Lady and the Tramp, since I have Lady's house and a few others that I think will match quite well. I will be doing a neighborhood inspired by the one Lady lives in. However, since it is the Peaceful Meadows, we have these ponds that we cannot move that I will have to work around, so it will be with some creative freedom. I will try to make something along the lines though, and I'm very excited to have like a city build down here. The second half is, as you can see, this bit, and the first half is where I made my... In winter I made a snowman exhibit over here, but that will be my new small marketplace, hopefully. And then the other half over here is where I have my Gilmore Girls Park that I haven't really done for spring and summertime yet, but I will get to that hopefully later. But for now it looks okay, so I'd rather focus on getting this one cleaned up. I will start by going over here and just cleaning up the meadows, hopefully. Okay, I had hoped there would be some clover still, as we are in the final rounds of the clover event for St. Patrick's Day. But as I'm done with the Oasis Star Path and I've already made 2 of the lucky cauldrons, I figured it was time to get back to decorating. And I hope you will enjoy it. Alright everyone, we are done with this phase of my Peaceful Meadows build, and with inspiration from Lady and the Tramp, I will now take you through my tiny Victorian inspired neighborhood. I've tried to make it detailed, yet still allowing for space for myself for decorating other areas, as I am on the PlayStation, so I don't have that high of an item limit. I also will be switching out some other bushes to variate more in color, and I might change the pavement as well to fit more nicely into this kind of neighborhood. But I need to craft enough of it to make it into the one with the border, which I find will go better with this kind of neighborhood vibe. So here we have Lady's house. Oh, hi Mike. And the thing is, I've tried to make this neighborhood not just pretty and well decorated, but useful as well, because I still run around grinding a lot. I do have the ancient vacuums, but whenever I go time bending here, or if I have to search for the blue chests, I would like for me to have space to run around everything and get to basically all the corners and still be able to have a view of what's going on. So here is my version of Lady's doghouse. It's the Figaro house that I bought from the premium bundle with Figaro in it. But I figured it was the nicest match with Lady's home here, since the other ones I have are yellow or a jungle vibe doghouse, so they don't really go with this. I'm thinking of adding maybe a few more plants, bushes, or a play area for Lady here, but I don't know yet. And if we go this way, it's not the house that matches the one that is right next door to Lady in the movie, but I figured this could be the house for Scott. At least he's called that. It's the tiny Scottish terrier. He has this really cute scene where he goes to find his bone that he's been digging down, and so I made this little area for him here under the bush, where I imagine he could have his little bank of bones that he's been digging down, or burying rather. So here you can have a sit and just enjoy the view of the neighborhood. I tried to incorporate the ponds as best as I could while still being able to get to them whenever I do need to fish, which is why I haven't encapsulated them fully into bushes or rocks or anything. I do like to be able to move around, so I've been working around that as well. Here is the tiny communal garden. It's not really a garden, it's more like I don't know what to call it, orchard. Well, you can go and just pluck some apples or cocoa beans apparently. But I figured these are nice and square in the earth, and they match quite well with this kind of neighborhood. So I figured why not use them as part of my build, since I can't really delete them anyway, and I do need them, so this way I know where to find them, I can always access them, and I don't want to make just a full orchard with all the berry bushes and all the trees, because as I've seen from others, they don't match up in numbers. So I figured why not use them in this kind of build instead, and that way I don't use up my item limit too fast either by decorating with trees from the building menu. I've used these trellises to sort of frame this little area, and I think it does a nice job for me. So over here you can go into this bit where this path leads up to the plaza and the other one down to the beach, and then over here you can see my Gilmore Girls park. that I have not decorated for spring or summer yet, but that will be one of my next projects. Going into here, I didn't want to put a bench or anything too fancy in here. I might do that later. I might expand on this build. I don't know yet, but for now, I figured I'm done. It's also nearly bedtime, so I should wrap up. Anyway, I put this here as I figured this would be a cute spot for a painter or some sort of creative to have a little working area, especially as you have such a nice view here. So maybe I'll put a couch or an ottoman or something that you can relax on. But keeping the playability in mind, I wanted to be able to have a cooking station, a crafting station, and all that stuff handy. So I need it nearby wherever I am. I try to have one in each biome when I'm decorating. I think that into it. And I love the fact that we are able to have this many different versions of a crafting table. So this one is the Rapunzel one. It's my absolute favorite. You can buy it from Scrooge. And this is the one I have the most places. So moving on to what I would have liked to have as Lady's neighboring house, because it's the one that comes the closest, I find. If you see Lady and the Tramp, the movie, it's a bigger, more squarish building with lots of details like this and more symmetrical. But this is the Bouff house from Tiana, and I placed it sort of on the opposite square because I couldn't make it fit over there. However, the Monsters Inc. house fits nicely over there, and I think it has the colors of something placed more in the shadows as well, which gives it a nice and cozy look. And this one goes perfectly with the way the sun hits in the game. So if we go in here, again, I want it to be playable and I want to be able to get around, so I made this open. Normally you wouldn't be able to go into people's backyards like this, but it is a game and I do need to get to these mining spots as well. I will probably be expanding on their garden just a little bit, maybe have a pathway around the house and some more bushes or something, but for now I'm pretty happy with it. I figured these would be maybe an older couple that loves gardening and just hanging out in their yard, so they got these little waterfalls for decoration, and of course this garden gazebo to hang out in, drink their tea, and discuss all the neighbors and the comings and goings of all the neighborhood people. So going out here, I had this open spot that I didn't want to build anything too big in. I wanted to keep it open. I wanted to keep the visuals open as well, since I like to be able to see my build, so I don't want to mess it up by putting anything too large in the middle, because when you run around, the camera that follows you kind of tends to move into things a lot, and especially if I have a dense build, it's not a very nice playing experience. So I placed this picnic blanket here with the bike, which makes it look very cozy and neat and put together, and you can still access the pond for fishing. You can go all the way around it, and I think it's just very cute. Also, because that big rock there, it kind of blocks out that side of the pond anyway, so I don't need to keep that side open. And then again, I used the apple tree here since I wanted to have something there, and I still want to use the space for something that doesn't just take up space without me being able to use it, and I want to be able to access all my trees, and from here I can still get to the mining spot and everything, so that's all good. And then this was the perfect space for this topiary, this garden topiary. It's a big item, but I figured it went well with the space I had left over here. When I first placed an apple tree in the middle, it seemed kind of small and insignificant considering we have this big mansion in the back. so the view from here is definitely better. But let's go to Tiana's house first. I wanted to keep some of Tiana's, oh, it started raining, more laid back kind of poor upbringing, where she doesn't necessarily have a lot of stuff in her home, and I think for now I want to keep it that way. Her big baby is her restaurant, which is where she pulls in all her money, and that is situated on my plaza, so she's very close to her restaurant. On the table here, I'm thinking of placing some beignets, her signature dish, just for fun, and I have the tiny plushie. And then I will be looking for a table that can accommodate this gramophone, but I didn't want to take up more of your time searching just for that. But I will find something that can go here. And then I figured, since I do love to have the option of cooking outside, if I need something for a quest or anything, it's nice to have just somewhere to cook, and it doesn't need to be an outdoor grill or anything every time. And I figured, why not give Tiana an outdoor kitchen? So this is what she has, and I think the way it snugs up to the house kind of makes it seem like it's meant to be. It might look funny to you, but I'm actually really happy with how this looks. I think she would love having a kitchen outdoors where she could make gumbo, and then all her friends could hang out in the yard, and she could be close to everyone. I think it looks pretty cool. Alright, moving on. Here I used the lemon trees as decoration, sort of forming this alleyway that we see. I don't know what you call it in my language. It's called eli, which is sort of like an alley, but for rich people. It's a posh thing where you have all these trimmed trees. I use the lemon trees because then again I can easily get to them, and they're not as tall as some of the trees in the game, and then I don't have to search the whole way for something that could go in here. And then again, it doesn't take up any item limit. And then because this looks like a rich house, a bit run down if you go to the details, but let's not focus on that. I just needed something to fill up this space, and I think it went well with the rest of the neighborhood. I gave them a pool and some lounge stuff. This is where I compromised on my own idea of having like the ability to walk around, but I just noticed now that I can still do that, so that's perfect. Maybe not all the way. I might move one of the wicker chairs just to make it easier, or this one, I'll see. But for now, I like it as it is. It looks super posh, and I know it's probably a bad word, but there's, for lack of a better vocabulary, it looks kind of colonial. But again, seeing as the history in also Tiana's story is of a colonial background, with the whole segregation and everything, I think this is a nice homage to the fact that she's in this world, she's a part of that. She made herself happen, and I love that for her. It's basically all the wicker and the palm trees in this kind of neighborhood that does it for me. But I think it looks nice here. And a final touch that I love to have in my plaza as well is this drinking fountain, which you will recognize from Eternity Isle, because this is where, spoiler alert if you don't have it, Jafar shows up as a hologram. But I think with the water tile underneath, it makes for a really nice and rustic sort of drinking fountain. Yeah, I love it. I think it's very cute, and it's a bit different. So anyway, this is my Lady and the Tramp neighborhood. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.